Hello students, how are you all? I hope you all are doing great. I am Neha Rajvanshi and I welcome you all in today's class, that is English class of class 9th. So students, in the previous video we have completed reading with our chapter number 3 from the book Moments. The name of the chapter is Iswaran the Storyteller. So it's a very simple, very easy, very interesting story and I am very much sure that the story is clear to you all, and in today's video we will see the comprehension part, we will solve the question. So let's begin with question first. In what way is Iswaran an asset to Mahendra? So in question we have to write that in the chapter we have read that writer was saying that Iswaran, he was like an asset to Mahendra. So we have to tell the reason that why the writer was regarding Iswaran as an asset to Mahendra, as a very valuable person to Mahendra. So what were the reasons that we have to write here? So let's see the answer. Iswaran was an obedient person. He was Mahendra's cook. So first of all we can write that Iswaran, he was very obedient person. And who was Iswaran? So he was the cook of Mahendra. He was very caring and hardworking. Now we are writing some of the qualities of Iswaran. So yes, he was very caring and he was very hardworking. He did all the jobs such as cooking meal, washing clothes and chatting with Mahendra at night. So he was basically a cook. So he used to cook food for Mahendra, but apart from cooking he used to do a lot of other jobs for Mahendra. So we can write that he did all the jobs such as cooking meals and washing clothes and chatting with Mahendra at night. So Mahendra, he was not having any other company rather than Iswaran. So Iswaran, he was the person who used to talk with Mahendra. He obeyed his master with full dedication, and yes, he was having a lot of dedication and he used to follow each and every order of his master, that is Mahendra. He was quite attached to Mahendra and followed him uncomplainingly wherever he was posted. And one more thing, one more quality of Iswaran is that he was very much attached to Mahendra. He actually respected, he actually loved Mahendra a lot, and this was the reason without any complaints he used to follow Mahendra wherever he was posted. So in the chapter we have read that Mahendra, according to his work profile, according to his working जो उसकी working pattern था, so because of that he had to travel a lot, he had to travel very frequently, and this person Iswaran, without any complaints, he used to follow Mahendra everywhere. You know, जहाँ महेंद्र जा रहा था, जहाँ महेंद्र की posting होती थी, so everywhere Iswaran, he used to follow Mahendra. So we can say that he was an asset to Mahendra. So because of all these reasons we can say this thing that yes, Iswaran, he was actually very valuable person for Mahendra. Next question, how does Iswaran describe the uprooted tree on the highway? What effect does he want to create in his listeners? So in this question we have to tell first of all that in the chapter we have read one incident where Iswaran, he was describing about one uprooted tree that was there on the highway. So we have to write that how does Iswaran, he described that uprooted tree that was on the highway. Secondly, we have to write that what effect he actually wanted to create in his listeners, right? So let's see the answer. Iswaran was greatly influenced by the Tamil author. So we can start our answer like this, that Iswaran, he was very much influenced by the Tamil author because he used to read a lot and always he used to read the Tamil thriller books, and he was very much influenced by all the Tamil authors whom he used to read. He was in the habit of creating suspense, and because he was in a habit of reading thriller books, so always in his own description he wanted to create the effect of suspense and surprise and thriller. He had the quality of narrating even the smallest incident in impressive way, and he was actually very much talented, and he was having this quality that you know, he was able to narrate even the smallest incident in the most impressive way, in the most dramatic way. He presented the incident related to the uprooted tree on the highway in a dramatic way, and when Iswaran, he was presenting that description of the uprooted tree that was on the highway, so at that time he presented the description in the most dramatic way. He was alone and the road was deserted. So this was Iswaran's description. So he said that he was all alone at that time and the road, it was deserted, it was empty. He saw something that looked like an enormous beast lying across the road, and when he saw that huge uprooted tree. So he thought that, you know, there is one enormous beast, or we can say enormous bushy beast, that is lying across the road. But as soon as he came closer, he found there nothing but a fallen tree. But when he came close, when he went to, you know, closer to that beast, then he found that okay, it is nothing else but a fallen tree is there. He narrated the story with all the facial expressions and proper gestures, and during the description, during the narration, he was having the proper facial expressions that we have read in the chapter, that he was having a suitable curved eyebrows, and he was maintaining the proper gestures of hands. Okay, so this was his art of narration. His main purpose was to create suspense and surprise in the mind of his listeners. And what effect he wanted to create? So he just wanted to create the suspense, the thriller, or we can say the surprise in the mind of his listeners. So this was the reason he used to narrate all his stories in that dramatic way, with all proper facial expressions and proper gestures. Next question, how does he narrate the story of the tusker? Does it appear to be plausible? So now in this question we have to write first of all that when Iswaran, when he narrated the story of the tusker, tusker is the elephant that we have read. So you know उसने ये story किस तरह से you know present की थी, narrate की थी. And secondly we have to write that this story, does it appear to be plausible, or we can say credible? So let's see the answer. Iswaran narrated the story of the tusker exaggeratedly. So we can write that Iswaran, he narrated this story with full of exaggeration, right? The tusker, having escaped from the timber yard, stamped on bushes, tore up wild creepers and broke the branches at his will. So according to the story that was presented by Iswaran, there was one tusker, and by chance that huge elephant, he escaped from the timber yard, and after that he was stamping on bushes, he was tearing the wild creepers, and he was breaking all the branches at his will. The elephant became uncontrollable and entered the school ground, and after causing a lot of distractions on village side and on the roads, finally that huge elephant, he entered into one of the school ground that was there. It created chaos there, and in that school ground also this elephant, he caused a lot of chaos. Everyone in the school tried to escape, and now because he was a mad elephant at that time, and obviously he was very big, very huge, so all the kids, all the teachers, they tried to escape. No one dared to face the tusker, and no one was having the courage enough to face the tusker because everyone was so helpless. In the meantime, Iswaran grabbed a cane from a teacher and moved towards the elephant, and Iswaran, who was in junior class at that time, so he grabbed one of the cane, or we can say one stick, from the hand of a teacher, and then he moved towards the elephant. He hit its third toenail, and the beast collapsed. And when Iswaran, he was there in front of the huge elephant, then he hit the elephant on its third toenail with the help of that stick, with the help of that cane. And what was the result? What was the impact? The beast finally collapsed. Elephant finally fell down. He claimed that he had used the Japanese art to control the tusker, and when you know Mahendra asked Iswaran that how he was able to do that, so he replied that he used one of the Japanese art to control the tusker. But this story seems totally implausible, as it is very difficult to believe that a child can control a mad elephant. And now we have to write our viewpoint, that what do we think about this story. So yes, we can say that this story, it is not at all trustworthy, it is not at all credible, it is not at all plausible. Why? Because it is very difficult that how can a small child who is still in junior class, so how can that small child you know control a huge elephant, a huge big elephant that is mad at that time. So this is something that is very difficult to believe. Next question, why does the author say that Iswaran seemed to more than make up for the absence of a TV in Mahendra's living quarters? So this thing we have read in the chapter, when narrator, he was saying this thing that Iswaran, he seemed to more than make up for the absence of TV, right? So क्यों writer ने बात कही थी कि that Mahendra, yes, he was not having any TV in his quarters, in his room, but Iswaran was there and he was enough to make up for this thing. thing, right? So what was the reason that writer he was saying this thing? So that we have to write here. So let's see. Iswaran was an expert in telling adventurous and mysterious stories in a dramatic way. So Iswaran, he was having this quality that he was very much expert in telling adventurous and mysterious stories, and that too in the most dramatic way. So this was his quality. It was his daily routine to entertain Mahendra at night, and it was the daily routine of Iswaran that he used to entertain Mahendra at night time. Mahendra could listen to and watch the development of the story, and when Iswaran he was narrating, he was presenting the description of a story, so at that time Mahendra he was able to listen the story, and at the same time he was able to watch the development of the story. Thus Iswaran seemed to more than make up for the absence of a TV. So we can say that yes, TV was not there, but Iswaran was there, and Iswaran he was the source of entertainment, he was the source of enjoyment in the life of Mahendra. So we can write that yes, Iswaran he seemed to more than make up for the absence of TV. So this was the reason Mahendra he was not having any kind of regret that why there is no TV, because there was with Iswaran and he was having more entertainment, more enjoyment than a TV. Next question. Mahendra calls ghosts and spirits a figment of the imagination. What happens to him on a full moon night? So in this question we have to write that in the chapter we have read that according to Mahendra, all these things, supernatural things like ghosts and spirits, they are the production, they are the creation of our own mind, right? So now we have to write that what happened to Mahendra on a full moon night when he himself saw that female ghost. Okay, so that we have to write here. So let's see the answer. Mahendra calls ghosts and spirits a figment of the imagination, as he did not believe in ghosts. So when first of all Iswaran he was telling that story in which there was one female ghost, so after hearing that story, Mahendra he calls that all the ghosts and spirits, so we can say all these supernatural things, they are only the figment of the imagination, because Mahendra he did not believe in ghost. Okay, one day Iswaran told him about a female ghost holding a fetus in her arms, and when Mahendra he told these things to Iswaran, when Iswaran he was telling a female ghost holding a fetus in her hands, in her arms, on a full moon night he woke up from his sleep and looked outside the window. And now we are writing that what happened to Mahendra in one of the full moon nights. So when it was night time and that was a full moon night, so Mahendra he was sleeping, but suddenly he woke up from his sleep and he looked outside the window. He got shocked to see the same figure and began to sweat profoundly, and he was unable to breathe properly. So when he saw outside, and outside he saw the same figure, right? According to the description of Iswaran, the same figure was there, one female was there, and he was holding one bundle in her arms. So he was having the he saw the same figure as described by Iswaran. So he began to sweat profoundly, because yes, he was very much frightened, he was full of fear, and he was unable to breathe properly, he was panting on the pillow. So this was the reaction when he saw that female ghost. Next question. Can you think of some other ending for the story? So now this question is that we have read the story, we have read the climax of the story. So now we have to tell that do we think, can we think some other ending, some other climax for the story? So students, here you can use your own imagination, your own creativity, because yes, as for me, I am not at all satisfied with the climax of the story, because according to the climax of the story, all these things like ghosts, spirits, yes, they are in real, because Mahendra he was the person who did not believe on such things earlier, but now he was very much sure that yes, he saw the ghost. So these things should not be there, because we should not encourage such things, but we should produce this thing that no, these things are actually only the creation of our mind. So this ending, this climax is not at all suitable as for me, but you can write your own answer here, your own climax according to you, what do you think the climax should be that you can write here? So let's read once what we can write here. The present story ends with Mahendra's resolve to leave the haunted place. So now the story is having this ending, this climax, where we saw that Mahendra, he is very much determined that he will leave that place that is haunted according to him. But it is not the appropriate ending. But as for me, this is not at all an appropriate, or we can say suitable ending. Mahendra should not have decided to leave the haunted place without knowing the reality, because Mahendra, he should not leave that place without knowing the reality, without knowing the truth behind the ghost. The story could end like this. So according to me, what can be the climax of this story? Courageously Mahendra approached to the woman and tried to know the reality. So when Mahendra, when he saw that female ghost, so what should he do? He should be very courageous, and then he should approach, he should go outside, right, and he should go near the woman, and he should try to know the reality, the truth of that ghost. As soon as Mahendra caught the woman, it became the revelation of the mystery. And when Mahendra is outside, he is there near the ghost and he caught that woman, then there was the revelation of the mystery. And now what is the mystery? It was none but Iswaran in the guise of a ghost of a woman. So Mahendra, usko pata chal jata hai that there is no female ghost, but it is actually Iswaran who is having this disguise of a ghost of a woman. So this can be one of the ending. But students, you can write your own answer here. According to you, what can be the ending, what can be the climax that you can write here. Clear? So students, we have completed all the questions here. I hope the chapter and all the question answers that we have completed, everything is clear to you all. And in the next video, we will start reading with our next chapter. So see you in the next video. Thank you.